Well, we're back this week for Akau TV, and we're joined by Reese Trumper, Akau Racing Manager. Reese, what's all the news? You've been down to the South Island this week?
Hey, Hazy. Yes, went down to the South Island on Wednesday and enjoyed a day of racing. We had great results, and I was lucky enough to enjoy Melbourne the week before, which was really good.
Fantastic. And it's been a bit cold down in Christchurch the last wee while.
It was freezing when I got off the plane. I didn't pack the right clothes, but getting that winning feeling was certainly made it warmer.
Fantastic. Well, I guess there's been plenty of winners this week, and we'll start talking through that with Imperatriz taking out the championship sprint there at Flemington on the last day of the carnival. Words can't really describe that performance. And where does she go to next, Reese?
It was sensational. So good to be a part of it all. She's obviously the best horse in Australia and New Zealand now on ratings, which is really good to see. DC obviously picked her out of the sale. He also picked the stallion at stud now, sort of state from the same sale. So we've had a lot of success at the Magic Million sale the past couple of years. She's headed to the paddock for a short break. They'll get her in and tick her over slowly, but a race like the Lightning Handicap, I'd say, or Lightning up Flemington Straight in mid-February looks to be ideal to start her off next prep.
Fantastic. And Taupo there last Thursday. I know Mark tipped out a couple on the show here last week. It gave us a strong push for Caravella anyway, but Caravella was joined by Balance of Power and Egyptian Queen in the winner's stall.
Balance of Power had always shown us ability. He's a horse that we paid a little bit for, and he did show us a lot at 2. He was obviously stakes place, but then he just got a bit colty, and we gelded him, gave him a good spell, and he's come back in great order this preparation. He's a real derby horse in the making, and it was great to see him put him away so easily. Egyptian Queen, she'd always shown us ability. She was our most forward 2-year-old at the beginning of last season, and she just chipped the fetlock, so we were on the back burners there, but she was good enough to place at 2, and she's come back a lot stronger this preparation as a 3-year-old, and she was dominant. And she's going to head towards the O'Leary Filly Stakes on the 2nd at Wanganui. Jonathan Parks will ride her there, and we're really thrilled. It's a good opportunity for her to pick up some black type. And Caravella, she just had no luck last season with the wet tracks, but I think she's in for a great season this season for sure.
And Saturday there at Rickenham, not a huge amount of luck, but good to see Taliska fight all the way to the line behind the pretty smart Chris Setti there in the 2000 Guineas. He's a horse that's really come through this preparation nicely and culminating there in a Group 1 placing as a good effort.
It's been the making of him, sending him straight down south. He was quite a big baby here in Matamata. He did a lot wrong, but he's really growing up every time I went down and I saw him. He kept developing, and he was loving his work down there. I thought it was a great ride by Sam Weatherly. I thought at the top of the straight we were travelling all right. Crocetti obviously is a freak, but our horse, he didn't disgrace himself. He fought all the way to the line. He was coming back at the end. So good little break for him now and get ready for the Cracker Million 3-year-old.
And over on Sunday there in the Wairarapa Racing Club at Tohura Nikau, Captured by Love, another example of a purchase by David Ellis at the Magic Millions sale. Obviously won't be able to get the points up for, or won't be able to be eligible for entry into the Cracker Million. Where do you go to with a filly like, or with a well-bred filly like this at a next up?
So she heads to the Wakefield at Trentham. She deserves the opportunity. It's not a race until December, so she's just gone to the Water Walker for a few days, but it was great to see. Obviously it was a 3-horse field, but the word was good on all 3 of them, which was encouraging. And she still did a bit wrong, so the experience is going to be key to her. And wherever she goes, she's going to be very competitive.
And tightly laced there, two trials for 2 wins, and then puts that on display on race day as well.
She was dominant. She's a beautiful filly by American Pharoah stallion that's absolutely flying. She's very fast, and she had that race won pretty easily at the top of the straight, I thought.
Great. And Rickerton there on Wednesday for Copeland's Day. Unfortunate, its business time didn't quite get the job done, but 3 winners on the card and quite a good day for the team. Mazzucato, Dream of the Moon in the 2-year-old race, and of course Fashion Shoot there in the Canterbury Stakes as well.
Great ride by Michael on Mezzicato. We just took the noseband off. She used to fight, get her head up high, put the shadow roll on. She got her head down, relaxed nicely, and she showed a really good turn of foot. It was hard to make ground on the first day at Riccarton, but they were making ground all day at Riccarton on Wednesday, which was good to see. Fashion shoot was incredible. Same example. Should have been 15 lengths off them at the top of the straight, and Warren just picked them off one by one, got the gaps when he needed them, and he followed the right horses, and she was explosive. So she heads to what used to be the Captain Cook, now the TAB Classic, the Group 1 at Wellington, over a mile, and off that run, the mile is definitely going to suit her. She's been a mare that's just taken a little time to mature. She always showed us ability early on when she was a 2 and 3 year old, but the penny's really dropping now. And Dream of the Moon, another example of the Magic Millions sale. We always had a high opinion of this filly, and there's some great people involved with her, and well done to them. They held their faith with us after she did put in a disappointing run first start, but the wet track did trip her up, but no complaints. And now they got the chocolates, and she heads to the Wakefield at Wellington now as well, Group 2 race.
Nice. And you mentioned Warren Kennedy. He's seeing the ball pretty well at the moment. But of course, OP is back on board this week for his first race riding day of the Riccarton Spring Carnival as well, Reece.
He is. Warren's been doing an incredible job for us. Michael's obviously been suspended, but he did the job for us on Wednesday as well. But Warren's definitely a rider going places this season. But it's great to have OP back on. He's an international jockey, and he's by far the best in the country, isn't he?
Absolutely. Well, we're going to cross over to Ben Gleeson and Cranbourne to talk through the Moonee Valley runners at Friday night, and of course the 2 Group 1 charges at Caulfield there on Saturday in Skew Whiff and the Sir Rupert Clark, and Zurian, of course, who was caught wide and ran very well in her 1,000 Guineas prelude run. She takes her place in the Group 1,000 Guineas. But we'll kick off there at Tauranga, I think. Let's kick off there in race number 1. The Ixom 3-year-old set weight and penalties 1,400. Rule of the law of gelding by Justify. Good winner last start. Draws barrier 1 with Vinnie Colgan on board.
We've just elected to keep him fresh. He's a horse that is a big lad. He's going to get over a lot of ground in time, so keep some speed in his legs for the 1,400. He should jump out from a field that has a bit of speed on, so we don't have to lead like we have this last 2 times. If we have to take a sit, we know he's got a good turn of foot, but he is a horse that probably enjoys to get out and rolling and take off when he needs to. But he looks by far the best horse in this field, and his work's been really good, and we're going into this race full of confidence for sure.
Great. And race 3, the Tauranga Hardware and Plumbing Handicap, rating 75, benchmark 1,200. 4 take their place. 4 pretty talented horses in their own right, in Wairau Cove, Fellini, Kabugi, and I'd Choose You. Do you want to talk through their chances, and also the new jockey in the book there, Billy Jacobson?
Wairau Cove's come back in great order. He's a big, strong horse. We've always had a lot of time for him. Whatever he does, he's going to definitely improve off, but the 3 kgs off certainly brings him into the race even more, and he has a good record at Tauranga. He will get back from a field that doesn't look to have a hell of a lot of speed on, but he's definitely the benchmark horse in the field and going to keep on improving throughout the season. Kabugi, he's got a great first up record. He's never been beaten. Vinnie Colgan's riding in great order. He's drawn a nice barrier. He should hop away, hopefully, in the first half, be one off, and off that run, he should be hard to beat. As soon as this horse gets blinkers on race day, he really flicks on. Fellini, he's come back in great order. He's always been quite weak, but he's really strengthened. He's got a deep girth and plenty of muscle this time. And the 60.5 is going to make it difficult for him, but Joe Cameroon has a really good record on this horse. He won on him as a 2-year-old, a 3-year-old, so he deserves the opportunity. I think he's got to be a horse that gets to 1,400 pretty quick. So whether he's as sharp as some of these over 1,200, I'm not sure. I Choose You. She's in great order. She's just had no luck this preparation. From that draw, we're going to have to go back again. The noseband comes off, the shadow roll goes on. We did that with Mazzucato on Wednesday, which worked a treat. They've both got similar manners as well. Billy Jacobson, the new South African rider, is join the team. He's been coming over and riding a lot of work. Donovan Manzor and Daniel Narkley are doing a great job bringing these guys out. They can ride. Craig Zaki, obviously, we had a lot of luck with, and Warren we are as well. He's ridden over 200 winners. in a lot of different countries like Qatar, Dubai. So he's certainly up to the challenge, and he's a nice bloke, and he just brought his family out here to be in a safer environment.
Nice one. And of course, that race is part of the Celery Artois series, which I think culminates there on Boxing Day as well.
Yes, it does, which is a great little invention the Auckland Racing Club have done. I think we won it with Mai Tai a couple of years ago, so it's very good.
And the next one is again part of the Celery Artois series for the sprinters, and that's the O'Connor Warren Insurance Brokers Handicap Rating 65 benchmark. Another two nominated in Bellamio and Aquis there for Pink Arrow.
Bellamio, he's just taken a while to lose his coat. He's not going to be the best looking horse there by any means, but he's holding his condition a lot better this time, and he's eating well, doing everything right. From the draw, he should get into a nice spot. Same again, Joe gets on with him really well, hence why he keeps the race day ride. But whatever he does on Saturday, he's definitely going to improve off. Akau, really happy with her. Her first up run was really good. I thought it was on a track that didn't suit her. Unfortunately, there is rain forecast today and tomorrow, which wouldn't be ideal for her. She likes to get on top of the ground. But she's in good order, and we're happy with her. And whatever she does, once she steps up the 1400, you'll see the best of her.
And race 7, the Group 2 Gartshaw Tauranga Stakes, weight for age over 1600 metres. Of course, Brando won a race there back on the 25th of March, and a Group 2 race, the Ultimate Mazda Japan Trophy over a mile. That was on a soft track. How's he going into this run, Reece?
His work at home's been excellent. We can't fault him. I thought he ran really well the other day. He just got stuck on the inside, but his work's been great. Happy with him. From that draw, there's a bit of speed on. He should get a nice drag into it. He ticks all the boxes for us for sure.
And Predefer, a horse that very rarely missed the placings last year, has had a bit of a checkered race record this campaign.
No luck this preparation. The handicaps just don't sit well with him. Back to weight for age, and the track that he likes is ideal. He ran second in this race last year, being 3 deep on speed. So he's a proper weight for age horse. Obviously, you'd like to see him going a little better than what he is, but you can never discount his chances. And from that draw, they are going to go along at a good tempo, so it will set it up for a horse like him.
Nice. And race 8 there, the Jeremy Price Sotheby's Handicap Rating 65 benchmark 1600 grid. Invincible, the 5-year-old Savabeel mare takes her place there, draws barrier 9 with Billy Jacobson on board.
Look, she's been disappointing in her career. We really thought she'd be a stakes horse. She still could be, but she does let herself down in the barriers with her barrier manners. Hence why we've put Billy on, just a jockey that doesn't know her. But her work's been good. She looks great. And if she runs up to her looks, she's definitely a top 3 chance.
Fantastic. And a big team in at Riccarton there on Saturday. We kick off in race 2, the Christchurch Casino Premier Rating 65 benchmark. Al Millie B draws extremely wide in barrier 22, but has the surfaces of the man, Opie Blossom.
Al Millie B will be pulled out this morning.
Great. Race 3, Dankins Group Premier Rating 65 benchmark 2000. Elegant Lady draws barrier 4 with Opie on board.
She's had a luckless preparation going into this. Draws and runs of the race have just given her no hope. But the step up to 2,000 metres from a good draw with champion jockey on is going to be a massive help to her. She's in great order. She's eating well, and she looks like she's going to be very hard to beat.
And race 5, the Wuhan Jockey Club Trophy Premier Perfect Scenario, a happy hunting ground for this bloke down in Riccarton, and he finds his way down on over the Cook Strait Ferry via Trentham.
Yeah, he just hasn't struck tracks that we'd like. We'd like to have had a 1,200 metre race, but the wet ground hasn't been ideal for him. But he's in great order. He won a trial 5 weeks ago at Matamata, so he's got plenty of speed still in his legs. Lily Sutherland's riding in great order. She won the Pegasus on Not Guilty on the first day. Her 2 kgs off really brings him into the weights. He's a group winner last season at weight for age, so he's very well placed. And from that draw, I'm just not sure where he ends up, but the horse is in good order, and we're expecting a really bold performance.
Race 6, the Bevan Lamming 82 today Premier. Happy birthday, Bevan Lamming. Rating 82 benchmark, fierce flight. He's been all over the country. This bloke draws barrier 16 with Opie Bosson on board.
On the quick backup is ideal. From that draw, I'm not sure what we do. He jumped well on Wednesday, but he normally doesn't. So where Opie ends up, I'm not sure. The trip will help him. I think he's a horse that will go all day for you. He's in good order, and his race on Wednesday was good. So he ticks a lot of boxes. So I'm with him on Saturday for sure.
And race 7, the big one, the Group 1 Barneswood Farm 51st New Zealand 1,000 guineas for the 3-year-olds under set weight conditions over a mile. Star of Justice and Viva Vena, they've both been sparring partners in their last couple of runs. I think Star of Justice just had the wool over Viva Vena last start over ground. How have they both come through their runs recently?
Happy with Star of Justice. She just keeps on developing, hence why we've given her the month between runs, but the step up to a mile is going to be ideal for her. She's a filly that's going to get over a lot of ground. She is a big girl. We'll just leave it completely up to Opie how he wants to ride her. She's drawn a bit of a sticky barrier, but he'll work it out. He'll know where he wants to be once they jump. But she definitely ticks a lot of boxes, and she's going to get the mile better than the rest, I reckon.
And Viva Vena?
She's drawn an awkward barrier as well. I think to get the mile, we have to ride her quiet. Sam Wedley gets on with her really well. The other day in the Barneswood Farm, the horse next to her, Illicit Dreams, dropped out and ran last, so she had no right to continue on the speed that she was going, but she fought to the line nicely. If they're going to get a mile, it is against their own sex and their own age group, so she has that on her side, but the mile is very suspect.
And race 8, the Avon City Ford Premier rating 75 benchmark 1200 to take their place. Dance Serena draws barrier 3 for Warren Kennedy, and Insatiable draws barrier 21 for Opie Blossom.
Dance Serena was just a bit outclassed in the Pegasus. She got exposed early. We got killed for draws in that race, but she's come through it well. All reports are good. Just given her a quiet week, and Warren was very keen to stick with her. From a good barrier, she should hop away pretty quick, get a little bit of cover, and hopefully a bit of rain around would bring her into it more. Insatiable, he ran really well first up. He had 5 weeks between runs. He's got an awful barrier. Opie, I'm not sure what he does from there. Warren said once he got out in the open the other day, it was just too early and he just pulled a bit. But the step up the 1,200 metres will be ideal for him. And we actually have Sautrin just a bit lower. Michael McNabb on. It's going to be a big help to her. She was great at Wingatui the other day. The 1,200 metres back and trip is going to be ideal. From that draw, she should get plenty of cover, and she looks a really nice chance.
And race 9 there, the listed Lindau Stewart Stakes, open handicap over 1,200. Challa finds himself out wide there with the top weight. How's he going to go?
He was a bit disappointing in the Pegasus. I thought that was a good race for him. Jonathan just said that he was a bit naughty in the gates, missed a kick, so he didn't get into his normal leading spot. Opie will give him a really good warm-up on Saturday, and hopefully he can just bowl along at his tempo. The weight is good. Weight does stop a train, doesn't it? He's not a massive horse, but he showed at the beginning of the season that he can carry it against these type of horses, so you can't discount his chances for sure.
And on the bubbles was a bit disappointing there running last start. He's a bit hit and miss, this bloke. How is he going to go on Saturday?
Blinkers go on. First time he worked up in them on Thursday and worked really well. He's a horse that you need to get cover with and get breathing. He just doesn't have the best windpipe, as everyone is well aware of. But he's trained on well. He's eaten well. And Warren Kennedy back on is going to be a massive help.
Watch this space. Race 11, the Group 3 Martin Collins 160th New Zealand Cup. This is quite a sight, this race, when the horses go around the 200 metres. 2 of them take their place here, and they've both been fairly competitive throughout their campaigns. The Mighty Spar draws nicely in barrier 2, has a light weight with 53 kilos and Craig Grills on his back.
He's in great order. I thought his run in the Metropolitan was incredible. He's definitely going to get the 3,200 metres, and he's probably one of the fittest horses in the race. From that draw, he'll get into a nice spot. He'll save every penny he can. And if he gets the gaps when he needs them, he's definitely going to be fighting out the finish.
And Prismatic there, 3 seconds in a row, draws barrier 9 with Michael McNabb on board.
He's had a great preparation leading into this race as well. He's going to get into a beautiful spot from that draw. Really happy with the way he presents. The 3,000 metre race last time was ideal for him. So he certainly ticks all the boxes if he gets some luck and gets the gaps when he needs them.
Fantastic. Well, that wraps up the runners for the weekend in New Zealand, Reece. Can you give us a best bet?
Look, I would tip Brando, but every time we tip him on Te Akau TV, he doesn't do any good. So I'll rule of law in the first race at Tauranga for a win.
Rule of law, first race at Tauranga. There you go. Thanks for your time, Reece. Before we cross over to Ben Gleeson and Cranbourne, just quickly touch on the races in New Zealand next week. So we head to Counties Cup Day. There'll be a couple of 2-year-olds in, and there should be a pretty good and strong competitive cards. But thanks for your time, Reece, and you'll be on track at Tauranga this weekend. But for all the viewers out there, have a good week.
Thanks, AZ.
Well, we've just caught up with Reece Trumper, and now we're crossing over to Ben Gleeson at the Cranbourne Barn. Ben, what is all the news, mate?
Well, we're heading into a big weekend of racing. Got 2 runners tonight at Moonee Valley, both good chances, and then we head to a Group 1 doubleheader tomorrow at Caulfield. Usually the spring's over this time of year, but we've still got another week, which is awesome. We've got Zuri on in the 1,000 Guineas, who is a fantastic chance, and then Skewiff in the Rupert Clark, which she's coming out of winning form, and I think she's found the right Group 1.
And she carries a fairly low weight there in the Rupert Clark, and we'll kind of start there in a bit of detail around Skewiff. So the Rupert Clark is obviously a handicap race, or is it weight for age handicap? And she carries 55 kilos.
Yeah, so she drops 4.5, which is a huge weight relief off the back of a win where Opie got off her straight away and said, God, she's going to improve a heap in the next fortnight. There's no one that knows her better apart from Opie, and I think he's spewing that he's not over here for her, but we weren't blessed with a gate, unfortunately. Pretty similar draw to last time, but Craig Williams engaged. He's a genius on his day. He's a proper big race rider, and I know that Craig and Opie had a chat about her, and I think Craig's all over her antics and how to ride her. So just got to hope to get a soft run if we can get across the right position. And I think with that weight relief, you'll see her absolutely explode this time.
And there was absolutely nothing wrong with Zurian's last run in the 1,000 Guineas prelude. How's she come on?
Yeah, she's just hasn't missed a beat, this filly. She's had no luck with draws, no luck in run. And her last run, I thought, everyone's raving about the winner and the horse that flashed home, but I thought she was the run of the race, considering she probably ran a mile compared to the other fillies over the 1,400. She's thrived in the 4 weeks. She's had a couple of really strong gallops, took her to Caulfield on Tuesday morning, and she worked the house down. I think Mick D seemed to have the choice between a few horses in Cambridge and another filly he's been riding, and he stuck with this filly, which I think says enough. And he got off her on Tuesday morning and said, wow, she has improved a heap. So I could certainly see the surprise and joy on his face. And when you see her in the parade ring on Saturday, her coat looks magnificent. She's put on weight since she first got here, so she's finally furnishing into the filly that we'd hoped. Again, Sticky's raw, so just got to hope that a good jockey overcomes a bad gate.
Absolutely. And just quickly on those runners in the Valley on Friday night. So 10:45 p.m. New Zealand time, 8:45 p.m. Melbourne time. Rubicon Crossing goes around in the 55-second challenge heat, 955 metres. It'll be going like the clappers, I imagine.
Yeah, I think Lincoln you'll miss him. But she gets a soft draw, and I think she's always getting to know these horses more and more since they've come over. And we had a pretty spot on, obviously, when she won at Mornington, and then she sort of had a few idiosyncrasies come about again, and she's always been a keen horse, and this is in hindsight, up until her run at Moonee Valley. But the last 2 weeks, we've tried a different bit on her, and it's really got her settling in her work and using herself, and her coat's finally completely come out. So she's very happy in herself. I think she's in the same form that she was in before she won. And from that soft draw, if she can just tuck in behind the leaders, I think she'll be able to really rattle home.
And the race thereafter, the EDSA Group Handicap over 1,000 metres, Sands Duped. Probably we would have thought she would have put in a bit of performance there at Seymour last start. How has she come through? Is there an excuse for her run last start?
Yeah, she came through the run fine. I think in hindsight, she just doesn't see out a strong 1,100. They went a decent clip in that race. Everything that finished in the first 2 or 3 flashed from behind. And she just didn't see out a strong 1,100. So we dropped her back in trip. freshen her up a little bit, and we might try and ride her a little bit conservative. Mark said back in New Zealand, I think her first start, she sort of settled off the speed and rattled home. So we might try and rate her like that tonight and see if she can show her turn of foot.
Excellent. Well, I haven't done this to you before, but you've got 4 runners this weekend. Can you give us a best bet of those 4?
Yeah, I'm going to put things on the line and say Zuri on at 15 plus to 1.
There you go. It's a lot braver than some of the $1.50 shots that Reese has been tipping us recently. So cheers for that, Ben. And just quickly, I guess we haven't touched on Imperatriz. Great win in the Group 1 Championship Stakes. She's a mare very dear to your heart at the moment. Can you give us a quick update? I understand she's at a local spelling paddock and she might be hooked up next to Gold Trip by the sound of it.
Yes, thankfully there's a big fence between, very distant fence between them. I'm sure he would love to get in the same paddock as her, but she's done us all so proud, isn't she? I think she brings a little emotion to all of us to see what she's done for the spring. But she's only half an hour down the road. It means our vet can see whatever they need. Farrier, she can get all the care that she's been getting locally, and I can just duck down the road and see her. We got a video update from Gilly, who runs Foreman, who's one of the best in the business at what he does, and she was just stargazing out the paddock, happy as Larry, and I'm sure she'll devour the whole paddock in no time.
100%. Well, it's a very well-earned break for Imperatriz, and good stuff from your end as well, Ben. It's been your first stint there over a spring carnival for Te Akau in Melbourne, and you're really coming up trumps with the results as well. So well done to you as well, mate.
Thanks, Hamish. It's all up to the team behind me.
Cool. Well, we'll leave you to it, Ben, and we'll hopefully catch you again next week, and hopefully you're 1 from 1 on the tipping front by the time we catch up with you next.
That'd be nice.